This anime isn't just dark, it's sustained torture. A long time ago when I was a child, one of my older cousins happened to play a clip on YouTube from a certain anime, and in this clip, a woman was getting molested by a demon in front of her lover. She was getting groped by demonic entities, and I was a child watching this. And ever since then, I always wondered, what the heck was that clip I saw? Why was this woman in this position? Why was I shown this clip? Where was it from? What show was that? I didn't know. 16 years later, I finally found out the truth about what happened. To tell you the truth, I'm not a big anime fan. My favorite anime since I was a kid has been Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I'm based. Alright? I enjoy Castlevania. Only because I'm into vampires, and Vlad is like one of my favorite anime characters, and the moment he left the show, I left the show. My favorite all-time anime is Spawn, because of how dark it was. I've made a video on why this show is one of the greatest of all time and it needs to be reincarnated somehow. But when I made that video, a lot of people were commenting saying, Zaffy, if you like dark stuff, you should watch Berserk. That's as dark as they come. And could be even darker than Spawn. And I said, a lot of people keep referencing this show to me. A lot of my friends have referenced it. And I'm like, fine. Maybe I should give Berserk a try. If people, and I'm not an anime guy. This panel is about film, movies, right? I don't want people just funneling in and giving me all these suggestions on different animes, right? But I said, fine. Berserk it is. And I watched it. Now, one of the things that stands out to me first, one of the reasons that I bothered staying with the anime is because it very carefully, methodically, and in probably one of the better ways I've seen, it shows the cult of personality and the cult mentality that members go through when they are indoctrinated into a cult. I'm a big fan of cults. I made videos about cults on this channel, a lot of them. And this has one of the best ones that's very, very subtle. All because of this guy. What a nice guy. Such a good human being. We're gonna get to this fucker later. I will make a movie with a cult in it at some point. That's my goal. It will happen. That's how invested I am into cult-like storylines. So with Berserk, it basically, essentially what it is warriors who are friends trying to conquer the world together. We got one character named Guts, a badass, who's come into a new clan and is finding his way in the new world with our great leader Griffith, and this is going to be a very positive, happy show in which they rule empires together and all that stuff. Let me tell you, I've tried watching anime before. Attack on Titan, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I actually like a lot. I do plan on finishing it. Steins Gate, my mask is coming in my eye. Steins Gate, Vinland Saga, Chainsaw Man. I like some of these, but the problem is it's hard for me to get through them. A lot of anime fans, they're always like, why is it taking you so long? Why can't you finish an anime ever? And I'm like, I'm not as compelled by this stuff as you guys are. I don't know, maybe it's just a live action bias I have, but I'm not that guy. But with Berserk, let me tell you, it took me a couple episodes to fully get into it, but that childhood memory I had was stirring within me. I'm like, could this be the show I was questioning all these years? And after episode 10, I said to myself, okay, now I'm hooked. Now every episode's ending makes me want to see the next episode. I never do that. It's usually a chore for me to click on the next animated episode on a Crunchyroll or whatever the hell. I can't do it. But with this show, that wasn't an issue at all. Now I want to get through something right out of the way. Hollywood needs to learn from this show on a couple things. One, the female character in this is one of my favorite female characters of all time. Casca? I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that name. But this is female empowerment done right. She's the lone female warrior in a clan, one of the most badass warriors in there. But she has the main issues that females would go through in this time period. Generals are literally talking about how they want to prostitute her after they beat her in a fight. Every 2 seconds. That's the kind of roast that she gets every time she's on the battlefield. She has a period in one episode. She's visibly weaker than other men on the battlefield, and she hates that men have to fight for her. But these things could come off so annoying in Hollywood right now, but they don't in this, because she is actually very well written. I have never wanted 2 people to fuck so badly in my life. What does that say about me? Well, maybe it says I'm a weirdo, but on the other hand, it also says I really enjoyed watching these two together, and it took them 20 goddamn episodes to get to be a couple. I was like, are they actually going to get together in this? I don't even know. And there was only one season. I was watching the 97 version. There are so many Berserk versions online. Like, there's a new 2016 one, there's a 2022 one, there are like 3 different movies. But I was recommending 97 because of the golden age era, because of this. They, as a couple, are amazing. Now, why is that? Do they have chemistry? Yes. They hate each other's guts in the beginning. Well, she hates him because she thinks he's trying to change this whole group dynamic. She thinks he's changing the leader Griffith in a bad way. She's envious of him as well. But they have such good chemistry. They're warriors who are stoic as shit. But they feel alive when they're near each other, right? The other reason why I wanted them to get together is so she could open up her eyes and take off the rose-colored glasses that she feels for Griffith. Every single person in this cult loves Griffith. They glaze him every 2 seconds in the show and annoyed the shit out of me. It's intentional. It's supposed to be done that way because Griffith is supposed to be propped up in the eyes of these bots. Guts is the only one who can see the truth. He sees through the bullshit a bit. Even though he likes Griffith and he wants his respect, he can see what the others are, and he sees how NPC they've become for Griffith. And I wanted Casca to break out of this. And it's an interesting tug of war, seeing her respect and admiration for Griffith kind of slowly over time getting trumped by her love and romantic interest in Guts. And in terms of these two together, there's a line that Griffith says. He says that none of these guys are necessarily his friends. A true friend is his equal. And Guts, although he's not as indoctrinated as these others are, he really wants to be seen as Griffith's equal. He wants to become Griffith's equal. And it gets to the point where he even surpasses Griffith. Now, the reason I think Guts is one of the most badass characters ever is, for one, he only knows how to do one thing. He's only useful for one thing: killing people by the hundreds. This is a man who has slaughtered 100 men out cold with a big ass sword that he just swings around. He just swings a big ass sword at people and they can't do shit about it. And he's huge. He's like stronger than Bane. He's an awesome character. And what I love about them is they're both warriors. They both only know how to do one thing. And they both have been doing the same thing for so long, fighting for one man's dream, this cult leader named Griffith, that they can't even fully trust, to be honest with you. So you're rooting for them to finally break the chain. And Guts is the only one who does. Because look at this dude. Fuck this dude. The man himself. Probably one of the greatest villains of all time. Why? Because of how much I despise him. But in a good way. This is a dude who let himself get molested and prostituted by a king just so he can get money and resources for his cause. Why? Well, my friend Griffith has a dream. A dream of ascending to the top of the world hierarchy. Of having a castle where he can look at the world and rule it from. That's been his dream forever, and he'll do anything to get there. Interesting. The lengths he'll go to for ambition. And it's so clever how godlike he is to everyone else, how he indoctrinates them so well. He saves Casca from getting R-worded. I can't say it on YouTube because I'll get demonetized. And he brings her into the fold, saves her life, and she sees him as a god. With Guts is a man who's just a mercenary who has nothing else going on in his life. Then, Griffith finds him. They duel it out. Griffith challenges him and actually beats him so easily that Guts is like, what the hell just happened? Who is this guy? I need to know more about him. And he's so nice to me. He's so kind. He's so calm. He has the charismatic aura of a cult leader. But he also says the right things. He questions his members' doubts about him. He calls out the elephant in the room. Right after he does that. He seems like a noble man. There's a point where he looks at the dead corpse of someone he's killed in a battle and he's like, this boy died for my dreams. And he seems to have guilt in him, you know? He talks about all the people that have died for his dreams and you think, okay, is this guy maybe redeemable in some aspects? Maybe he's a good guy after all. He just seduces everyone. Seduces the king, the princess, the daughter. He makes his way through royalty. Everyone trusts him, even though there's a lot of people in the royalty who hate and envy Griffith because he's a lowborn who is now getting such stature in a castle because he's a great warrior. He is doing all the right things, this Griffith. He is like the ultimate Chad. Then what happens? Guts decides to do the unthinkable that no other cult member in this White Hawk clan can do. He decides, I want to just pursue my own dream, my own journey. I need to leave this place. Griffith says, fuck no, you're mine, bitch. If you want out, you gotta duel me for it. They do duel. and Guts destroys him within 2 seconds. Humiliates Griffith. The man who's indestructible, the man who, and he does it in front of many of his cult members, including Casca. The man who is seen as a god by everyone, like a prophet. He is ritually humiliated by this fight. To the point where he loses his shit as Guts just walks away, not in need of him anymore. So what happens? He loses his shit and completely goes off the plan. The plan was to methodically gain the trust of everyone and ascend the ladder the right way. But instead, he just decides, okay, fuck this. Goes to the princess's dorm and R-words her, essentially. She's 16 years old and the consent isn't really even there, even if she wasn't 16. So it's like he R-words her. And he gets caught after leaving her premises by soldiers. And here we get hell. This is where the show, boom, drops you into hell. I don't mean that as in this is where the show drops off quality-wise. I'm not saying that at all. This show has one of the most bonkers third act of a story I've ever seen. So, he gets imprisoned. How does he get imprisoned? He gets his tendons cut, probably a couple bones broken, and he's starved in a prison for like months and months and months, to the point where he's a frail stick. He has nothing. He can't move. He can't fight. The entirety of his legacy has been thrown out the window because he has built his legacy on being a warrior. That's gone now. They took it from him. Why? All because he lost his shit after losing to Guts in a fight. It broke him. This is great writing, by the way. He killed his perfect composure. So they rescue him, Guts and the White Hawk. And I actually felt bad for Griffith here because I'm like, okay, this guy's got everything taken away from him. Yeah, sure, he might be a scumbag for what he did with that princess and all this other shit, and he might be a manipulative cult leader, but I do feel bad for this. Like, he looks pathetic in this, right? Well, it was at this moment I knew we had all fucked up. While he's in a carriage all week after being rescued, he watches Casca, his former girl, not that they were romantically together, but she was always his girl, right? She was his main female support. He watches Casca and Guts, and it's very clear that they are a couple now, or to a degree, they're in love. So his ego can't even stand it. You can tell it through his eyes. That's when I knew, oh shit. Any sign of good Griffith is gone. So what happens? He tries to essentially off himself. Oh, let's talk about this first. Nosferatu. I forgot his last name. Sorry, I know my viewers hate it when I suck with names. Nosferatu Zod. There's a scene in like the mid part of the series where they're confronted by this demon called Nosferatu Zod. And the demon's about to kill them, but he sees Griffith's pendant. This necklace. This Bechelith, whatever. He sees it and he stops. And he's like, oh shit. And he tells Guts, he's like, listen, this dude with this necklace, his ambition will crush you. He foreshadows it, but we don't know what he means until this point. So, Griffith tries to off himself. And right before he does, the pendant that he lost when he was in prison comes back to him. And he sees it and he uses it. Guess what happens next? The eclipse happens. Now this is the shit when I was like, okay, I have never seen this pendant be used until this. I didn't know what it did. And I don't know why he didn't use it up until this point. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't know what it did. Maybe he just thought it was a lucky charm and he wore it. Maybe that's it. I don't know the lore either. So he did this, and then we have the eclipse. This is one of the most frightening third acts to any story, okay? They get sent into a hell dimension. There are tons and tons of demons. These demon kings pop up. They're like the fingers of a god hand or something. And they tell him, listen, my man Griffith. If you want to see that mountaintop, that castle you've always wanted, all you gotta do is make a sacrifice. Are you willing to do that? You gotta sacrifice your clan, your people, the cult that you created. Griffith says yes, and the demons start descending upon the cult and eating them. The weirdest, creepiest demons you've ever seen, right? They look like molesters. They're eating everyone, and Guts is the only one who's trying to kill his way through them, but there is an infinite amount of these creatures in this hell dimension. There's no escaping it. So he's trying to defeat all of them. Griffith turns into the Prince of Darkness. I don't understand why this pendant made him so powerful. I don't know who gave it to him, why they gave such an OP weapon to a random dude, or maybe they knew this was the one, they foretold this is the guy to become the Demon Lord. I don't know why he was chosen. I don't know how this pendant shit works, but this is how it works. He turns into a demon king, the one that the other fingers of the god hand demons are waiting for. And what does he do? Well, this shot gives me nightmares. My guy Griffith comes down like Batman, and he opens up one wing, and he says, bring me that chick. Bring me Casca. So, as Guts is watching, he takes Casca. Remember what I said about my childhood, where I saw that one clip as a child that my cousin showed me? Well, this was it. He starts R-wording her in front of Guts as he watches brutally, seeing his love getting... And while Griffith is doing this, he's literally looking Guts in the eyes as he's destroying his girl. Pounding her right in front of him. Out of spite. Out of spite. He's, in his eyes, this guy took my girl and made me look like a fool in battle. This is his ultimate revenge. And part of me thought, okay, is this actually Griffith doing this? Or maybe his demonic, maybe his mind is taken away, his human form is gone, and now he's a demon. Maybe it's not really him. But my friends verified to me, no, that's Griffith doing the whole thing. So, yeah, Griffith is a scumbag. So he did this. Now, when I was watching the show, I was watching this on YouTube. YouTube has like a full episodes channel of this, right? But for some reason, I think things were cut out of these episodes. For me, this stopped mid-molestation. Mid-molestation, the finale ended. And I was like, what the hell is this ending? What the hell? That was how this show ends? So, and my friend were like, okay, this isn't how it's supposed to end. So we went to one of the more recent versions of the show, the 2022 one. And we watched the finale of that to see, okay, what did I miss? I missed a lot, apparently. So apparently they were rescued by Ghost Rider over here and taken back to Earth. And essentially what happens is, they're both saved, but she's mentally ill. She's become a child in her brain. She's lost it all because of trauma from what happened. And now Guts has to deal with this. And apparently there's no closure to this storyline because it's still going on. The original author died and they still haven't finished the story because they don't know how. And this dude Griffith, this asshole, still dominating and trying to build his empire on Earth for some reason. And Guts and Casca are on the run. Well, she is... and he's trying to figure out a way to get her consciousness back. And they're just going to hide from Griffith forever. And he has to wear this demon armor that makes him go berserk. And he almost kills her or some shit. And I'm like, I'm not watching this. And apparently they haven't even made an anime trying to figure this all out. So I'm done. I'm done. That ending was painful. It was depressing. Like, what is this? I don't get any closure. Low-key, I kind of respect it. I kind of like a dark ending. This was dark. This show wasn't as dark as Spawn up until that final 2 episodes. Then I was like, okay. Now I know what everyone meant. Thank you for recommending this to me, motherfuckers. Thank you all for that. I love this show. I think it has one of the best romances in fiction. Hollywood needs to learn. One of the best villains in fiction. Hollywood needs to learn from that too. I think this is how you build a 20-episode arc. It was perfect. Until like the weird ending when there's no closure and whatever, YouTube screwed me over by giving me like a half ending or whatever. And even this, like the manga is just not finished, so I guess they're relying on that. But regardless, this is one of the better animes I've seen. I really enjoyed it. If you want to know the other darkest anime that I love, and I'll tell you exactly why, it's Spawn. Todd McFarlane's Spawn, which I needed to watch to get over this shit. So that should tell you something, alright? Like and subscribe. Goodbye.